Oh man. Well, I found out the hard way that lifting your Tacoma can have some consequences. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Tacomaholic channel. Hope you are having a fantastic weekend. So yes, I discovered some minor damage on my truck as a direct result of lifting it, specifically in the rear right here. So thankfully it's nothing crazy, so I just wanted to make a quick video pointing out this potential issue so you guys can check your trucks and make sure you're not experiencing the same exact thing. So what are we talking about? Here on the driver's side, and I know it's probably a little dark under here, you can see right here is the emergency brake cable line. So the actual emergency brake cable, it's got this nice sturdy rubber guard around it. I believe this is 5/8 diameter. And after lifting with my Dakar packs right here, the top of it is just sort of rubbing perfectly on, you can see this, it's like a U-shaped joint sort of holding this end of the leaf pack together. And on my driver's side, it's just barely rubbing. I think it just started to rub, so it's just barely scratching this rubber protective guard. However, on the passenger side, it's a little bit of a different story. Okay, so here's the passenger side, exact same thing, rubbing on the exact same clasp that's holding this Dakar pack together. And I'm gonna sort of, hopefully you guys can see this on camera. You can see right here where my pinky finger is, that same rubber shroud, it was actually rubbing on this bolt right here, and it actually wore through, so I can see on the inside of that protective covering. So what I need to do now, to prevent this from doing any more damage, first I need to clean this out. I need to seal it up so water and other crud doesn't get in there and cause my e-brake to seize up, or to cease functioning altogether. And then I need to add some kind of protective coating around it. What I will be doing today is just like a temporary fix. I might try to fasten some kind of like L-shaped bracket using this bolt just to sort of hold this, away. But I just don't have the time to get to that today, so I will be doing a temporary fix, sharing that with you guys in just a moment. I'm not exactly sure what happened to make this sort of like lean over and start rubbing on this bolt. You can see this piece right here. I believe you do have to remove this from your factory leaf packs and then transfer it over to an aftermarket leaf pack. It sort of holds the cable out, and I don't recall this part actually touching from the beginning. And of course, the driver's side, it's barely any damage at all. So I assume this is just something that maybe sort of worked itself closer and closer to the leaf pack, with micro vibrations over the months that I've had this on there. It's been over a year now, so not really sure what caused that sort of slow buildup over time. But what I need to do first, I will just be taking some regular WD-40, getting the nozzle in there. I'm going to sort of point it both ways and squirt it in there to help clean it out. And of course, if any water's trapped in there, just in case you didn't know, the WD in WD-40 does stand for water displacement, so it should force any of that out. Also acting to clean it and then lubricate any of the parts in there as well. So perfectly safe for this. Then I just got to seal it up. Looks like the opening's not actually large enough for me to get the nozzle in there, so I'm just going to sort of give it a squirt right on the front, and hopefully it just sort of forces it in there to clean it out just a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit to clean it out. Give it a little lubrication. And then a little bit sort of pointing the other way. And it's been about 10 minutes, let the WD-40 sort of soak in and dry up. So now I'm just going to take like a healthy blob of regular silicone to waterproof that. And again, I know it's sort of hard to see back here, but I'm just going to run it into the opening where it wore away. Let that dry. Usually it takes about 24 hours for silicone to completely cure, but I'm going to put a fan on it for an hour or two before putting the protective coating on it. So I've got enough on there that it should be nice and airtight after just like the outer skin sort of toughens up just a little bit. Alright guys, the silicone is dry now. It's been a couple hours, so next I just need to go ahead and protect it. Again, this is just a temporary fix, but But I went over to the hardware store and got some. This is 5/8 inch inside diameter tubing, and it's 1 inch outside diameter. But this fits perfectly around the emergency brake line, so I just cut off a few small pieces, one for each side, and then I took a regular razor blade knife and I sliced it down the side so it like opens up like a C right there. So we'll go ahead and slip this around the part. Obviously I cut it, this is probably about 5 or 6 inches long enough, so it's definitely going to cover the area that is in contact, and if it should move a little bit, it's still good to go for that. And then of course I just got a few, I got 2 of these for each side. These are 3/8 up to 7/8 inch clamps that I'll just put those on. These work nice with this inside diameter hose, so when I tighten them down, the hose should not move at all. And here is the driver's side, and that's what the whole thing looks like once you get it tightened down. And of course, here's the passenger side. Go ahead and take that rubber hose that of course is cut down lengthwise. Just sort of open it wide on one end to get it started. Feed the whole thing on. And then I'm going to overlap it so it's roughly in the middle of where it's actually rubbing and causing all of that damage. For the actual hose clamps, you can of course use a flathead screwdriver to tighten these down, but I found on these ones specifically, if you use an 8mm bit, it's much easier to get that done. Tighten one side down just most of the way, get the other one started, and then get them both nice and tight so this thing's not going anywhere. Okay, as you can see, I'm tugging it right there, not moving at all, so that should be good. So when I'm driving around from this point forward, the vibrations of the truck should not move this out of the way so it caused damage somewhere else. And none of the metal on these clamps is rubbing anything else, so it shouldn't, you know, have any metal on metal contact and cause any rust issues there. So again guys, this is just a temporary fix. I'll probably try to get some kind of small L bracket fabbed up just to sort of hold this away, clean it up a little bit, but this should be good for now. So if any of you guys are having this issue, hopefully not, but if you are, this is definitely a simple solution you can do. Again, all this stuff just cost a few bucks at the local hardware store. Alright everyone, another video on the books going over a quick fix if you are experiencing this sort of wear and tear damage on your emergency brake lines. Hopefully you aren't, but if you are, this is something you could certainly do to fix that. As always, thank you so much for stopping by. If this is your first time, please consider subscribing and help me grow the channel by sharing it with your friends and family on social media. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you in the next video.